What will never be the same again once the pandemic is over? Time spent with my kids. Pre-pandemic I would leave the house 5 days a week at 6:15 a.m. to commute to the office, usually before anyone else in my house is awake. And I'd get home most evenings just in time to put them to bed. I'll never go back to that. The past 8 months I've actually seen my boys grow up in front of my eyes and I get lots of quality time with them every day, even with work from home. I know now what I was missing. Hopefully your boss will finally admit that all his dumb meetings actually could have been emails all along. My marriage. My wife and I had to work from home together, separate jobs, from March until September, when she had to go back to the office. I'm still working from home. During this time, we became increasingly closer. I have heard so many stories of marital problems being caused by COVID. I literally miss my wife every day she has to go to work. I meet her at the door like a fucking puppy. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Sometimes forced proximity does too. My dogs have expected me to basically be around all the time and rub their belly ears 24/7. Small businesses. Most of the mom and pop stores in my town are gone forever. Some of these stores I grew up with, the Nickel Arcade, the tiny French bakery my aunt took us to when we got good grades, the only ramen shop open after 10 p.m, my favorite donut shop, the fancy British tea shop I never had a good date in, but many London fogs that were utterly perfect, the only dim sum place, the handmade mochi and tea shop, the only cigar shop in town to get fancy cigars. I lament the death of all these tiny businesses I took for granted. I always thought they'd be around. Now my community is left with just brand name box stores, no more originality and flavor. Just closed sky-rise buildings surrounded by a garishly lit Denny's Olive Garden and Target. A massive amount of people now know they can work from home. Obliviousness to how many things I touched between hand washings. Office life. My company has already announced that once we are allowed to go back, we'd only be going once or twice a week. It seems many realized how feasible working from home is. I will not take hugs for granted. My attitude towards my entertainment backlog. Previously I used to look at my PlayStation library or my Netflix list and think if I just had a few weeks off, I could make a serious dent. I've had more than a few weeks off, and my backlog seems, if anything, more endless. I'll probably be in the retirement home with that little voice in the back of my head going Peaky Blinders is meant to be good, should get on that. My bank balance, in the words of the great Tiger King himself, you're never gonna financially recover from this year. I'm afraid that a lot of karaokes and spas in our country will go out of business. My waistline. Standing next to someone after they sneeze. My definition of your personal space point year. Edit. Holy crap. I haven't yet logged into Reddit since I made this comment, and it blew the heck up. Thanks for the awards all, although the hugs trophies kind of miss the point. Lol. Costco free samples. Drinking fountains. As a nursing assistant, I will be forever so hesitant to get near someone, particularly the elderly who like to cough directly at you, without my eye shield and mask. All you can eat buffets. Healthcare workers going to work without a mask on. Definitely took for granted seeing my co-workers' smiling faces during my long shifts. Food delivery just being dropped off on your doorstep. Remember when you had to go outside and make eye contact like some kind of person? No more, my friends. Just leave it outside and you'll get it when I'm ready. No more scrambling to find pants when you're half-baked and hungry. Shopping will continue to be mostly online and malls will likely die out faster than they were already going to. My faith in humanity. Blowing out the candles on your birthday cake. Literally this morning, our local paper reported that the government is aiming to achieve full internet coverage throughout Indonesia, reaching even the remote villages by 2024. We had a local meme as our boomer minister said a few years back something in the line of why do we need strong internet access? It took the poor stealing smartphones for the sole purpose of letting their kids attend online classes to convince them. So the answer to the question is, some boomers' view on the value of internet accessibility. Movies, unfortunately. Cinema specifically. I'm sure a lot of production companies will take enormous losses or possibly file bankruptcy as no one is paying to go see movies anymore. The other issue being that no one can really make movies at the moment either. Travel bans all over, logistic issues, actors not able to be within close proximity to one another, and then all the post-production work that, for the most part, can't be done from home. Little to no support for creative arts jobs from governments around the globe. Artists encouraged to retrain in other sectors. It's devastating. I'll have to start putting makeup on the lower half of my face. Crap. I have the impression that people have shown their worst part and this will have consequences for a long time. As a current college student, I'm in favor of keeping recorded lectures. It's way more helpful than just having notes or slides. People coming into work sick to show how dedicated to work they are, or saving those days for mental health days meant ironically. No, Justin. Don't come over to my desk with your coughing and runny nose telling me how bad you're roughing it at work to get some sympathy. If you're looking for sympathy, look under the dictionary between shit and syphilis. Anytime you're sick, you'll wear a mask. I'm amazed at all the times I flew before, when I had a cold, and didn't wear a mask. Video games. They feel like they did when I was a teenager again. Usually I feel guilty that I'm not doing something more productive, but right now I could care less about spending a whole weekend doing almost nothing but playing video games. Having been the funeral organist for numerous pandemic-caused deaths, I can bear first-hand witness to the sad fact that the families and friends of the departed brought to their death by COVID-19 will never be the SAME asterisk. The phrase avoid it like the plague, turns out people don't do that. Hopefully working from home, WFH, will become more of a normal thing, and companies will have much smaller offices. Cruise ships. Dubious that industry will come out the other side without radical changes. Who'd feel fantastic if remote work remained permanent. I can get rid of my second car to save money. Lunch at home. Meetings are shorter and less annoying than in person. People have actually been sending work over email instead of interrupting me with their random bullshit. And it's pretty awesome not having to deal with traffic or deal with people in general. I don't yet understand people who are dying to go back to the office. Seriously? A small thing, but I hope the quarter code menus at restaurants stick around. Airline fares. Now they are doing all this validity extension and not charging change fees. As soon as COVID is over, they'll go right back to the restricted fares of before.